What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another review, and this is my review for Final Destination Bloodlines, the 6th installment in the long-made franchise. And the premise to this one is we follow a young uni student named Stephanie who keeps having this reoccurring nightmare, which turns out to be her grandmother Iris's premonition, where 50 years ago, she was at a Skyview Tower restaurant with her boyfriend Paul and had a premonition that the Sky Tower was going to collapse, killing everybody. And unlike in the other Final Destination films, where our main protagonist ends up only saving about 7 or 8 people, she actually stops the disaster from happening. So it means that everyone there who had families, they had children, and they had children. We're pretty much in an alternate universe here where all these people actually should never have existed. And so death is coming back for this family one by one. So starting off with the positives, and I will say I actually really liked the direction this new movie took, where it does take it in a bit of a different direction to what some of the other Final Destination films have taken, in that, as I said, our protagonist here has actually stopped the disaster from happening. So you have people over the years that should have died in this accident end up dying, obviously, in the order they would have died in the premonition. I think we have a really strong cast here, script of characters, and I think it boils down to the fact that this is a family, rather than just having a group of high school students or uni students who really don't give a shit about each other. These people do generally care for each other, and that is really the case with Eric, where you first meet this guy and you think he's just going to be an absolute dick asshole, and he starts off like that, but then he just turns into one of the most caring characters, not only in Bloodlines, but honestly one of the best characters we've had in the franchise put together. And one thing that we do come to these Final Destination films for, obviously the premonition and the kills. I think this has one of the strongest opening premonitions. I wouldn't go out there and say it is the absolute best, but it is one of the more stronger ones because, again, it puts that fear into you. Like, if you're scared of heights, you will not dare go up into this restaurant. And you can see here that the young Iris does have a bit of a fear of heights. Like, she's really uncomfortable being up here. And, of course, moving on to the kills. Now, really, since Final Destination 3, the franchise has relied so heavily on CGI blood and CGI kills. And so because we've come to expect that for more than half of this franchise by now, I really was going into this one expecting it. And yes, while half of this film does give us that CGI blood and CGI kills, I will say, I think compared to a few of the other ones that have done it, this one's actually not bad. I wouldn't say it completely nailed it on the head, but the CGI blood here actually doesn't look too bad. And some of the kills in here, a couple of the kills arguably are one of my, a couple of my favorite kills within the franchise, which when I eventually do rank all of the kills in the franchise, we'll see where he landed. And of course, I can't I can't forget talking in the positive category on here without talking about the conclusion of John William Bloodworth, aka Tony Todd. I think the way they send him off here is absolutely fantastic. And I'm one of those people that, as much as I've loved William Bloodworth in this franchise, and I've loved Tony Todd's performance as him, I really felt that they haven't really utilized him in the franchise in the best way. He's kind of just been that cameo there that is warning everybody that death is coming for you. You can't cheat death. And without going too much into spoiler category here, the way they send him off is absolutely amazing for those who have been a fan of this character throughout the franchise, and for those who have been a Tony Todd fan in general. I think it's pretty obvious when they were filming his scene here at the hospital that they knew that he was really sick and this was possibly going to be his last on-screen performance, which I think it ended up being. I didn't really watch the whole credits on here, so I don't know if the end credits actually tribute Tony Todd of here. If you have seen the end credits, let me know if they did. And yeah, I will say that anyone who saw this in the theater probably did not have a dry eye. I wouldn't have imagined there being a dry eye in the house in anyone who would have seen it. Moving on to the negatives, and we'll start small and work our way up here, shall we? That's always fun. As much as I like the direction that this movie does take, I really wish we could change the way, death comes for people now. Like, we've gone 6 films in the fact that really the rules haven't changed that much, It's either always been, you're going to obviously die in the order that you would have died in the premonition, but if you intervene, the next person in the line dies, or if you kill somebody, you get their life, forever how long they're going to live, and you might possibly be able to break the chain that way. And I kind of really do wish that it had taken it in a bit of a different direction, I no doubt with the success of this film that we are going to get a Final Destination 7 in the next 2 or 3 years, and if we end up getting one, I really would like it to change up the rules and take it in a bit of a different direction. And as much as I love the family, the group of characters we get in here, I don't think our lead that we get here is one of the strongest. And I think that this really comes down to a writing issue. I can't really blame the actress for it. I think it was just a thing of they had written every other character in the family really well, and then they got to wait. No, none of these people in the family, Eric and Howard and Bobby, none of these people are actually the main protagonist. Stephanie is the main protagonist here. And it just felt like they really didn't have enough to write for her, which is a bit of a shame. Half the time you actually forget that she is the main character. She is the one who's trying to convince everybody here that death is coming after them. But overall, I thought Final Destination Bloodlines was a pleasant surprise. It is amazing how mostly consistent this franchise has actually been. And I wouldn't argue on the fact of some people going out there saying this is the best one. I wouldn't argue on that fact because I thought this was a really pleasant surprise and I enjoyed this movie quite a bit. It's going to be up there as one of the biggest surprises of the year for me. This movie might even end up on my best films of the year list. Not too sure just yet, but who knows? It might end up on there. So I'm going to give Final Destination Bloodlines a B+. I think this is an absolute just fun movie. If you've been a fan of this franchise and you're curious to see this one, definitely give it a watch. So guys, movies may be good, movies may be bad, but I review them anyways.